Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Veterans Corner. My name's Chuck Wood, and I'll be your host. We have a special guest with us today, Dan Laffin. He is from the, actually, we're going to be talking about Heroes for Hire today.
Yes.
And Dan is from he's a Veterans Employment Representative from the Connecticut Department of Labor. Mm-hmm. I knew I would spit that out, and I finally got it. I want to thank you, Dan. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
A lot of times what we like to do is we like to start the show by, just asking if you're a veteran.
Okay, yeah, I am a veteran.
Yeah.
I signed up for the Connecticut Army National Guard in 2001, shortly after the September 11th attacks. Okay. Immediately I got to go to West Point, but not as a student. I actually got to go as a gate guard. So I spent my first year in the Army at West Point, not attending school there.
It must have been a good experience.
It was a great experience. I just guarded the gates, and I was nice and close to home, but it was a really important mission that had a lot of high visibility on it. So it was a really proud moment for me to start my military career in.
Not many people, I'm sure, have that opportunity. So you're right.
It was fun and a beautiful place as well. So from there, I was deployed. I think my second deployment was actually to New Orleans for Hurricane Katrina. Okay. And that was just a couple months, and then shortly thereafter. Wow. Yeah, it was fun. It was interesting to go to a different part of the United States and see the unfortunate devastation and do what we could to help those people out there. Yeah. And it was actually fairly rewarding, and felt like you were really doing something.
That was I mean those of us who saw the devastation on TV, you saw it firsthand.
It was pretty crazy. Yeah, it was pretty nuts.
Now you actually did a tour or two over in Afghanistan, or? So
I deployed to Afghanistan as an infantry team leader in 2006, and made it about 7.5 months before I got what I call my enemy marksmanship badge. Yeah. And enemy marksmanship badge is simply a Purple Heart. Our unit was attacked, close ambush. Luckily, all the Americans made it out that night. Unfortunately, we did lose some of our Afghan partners, but was wounded by a couple of rocket-propelled grenades, and spent the next 3 years trying to figure it out and trying to, and eventually was medically discharged, and worked for, kind of did little side jobs for a year, and worked in retail for a year, and I got a job at the Connecticut Department of Labor. One of the things that I kind of ended up doing towards the end of my military career was working with other hurt veterans or wounded veterans that were in the state of Connecticut and kind of coordinating to make sure that they had everything they needed. They got to their appointments on time. They weren't having any problems with the VA or having any problems with their commands. Like just trying to get their kind of like their civilian lives, they're transitioning just back to civilian lives together. And that kind of led me into the career I am now, is helping veterans get jobs. And
that's great.
Yeah.
It's I got to shake your hand. No. I mean, thank you for your service. And on behalf of the Veterans Corner and the viewers, we'd like to thank you for your service.
You as well.
So thank you, Dan. We're here to talk about Heroes for Hire. Heroes for Hire. Yeah. I can sit there and talk a little bit about it, but I'm going to let the expert tell you about Heroes for Hire. There's a job fair actually coming up April 4th. Mm-hmm. Can you touch on that somewhat? So
April 4th will be the 2018 Heroes for Hire Career Fair. And that's going to be at Rentschler Field in East Hartford. Don't worry, it's not on the actual field. Yep. There's a ballroom, and it's a quite large ballroom. It's actually the largest career fair in Connecticut, and it's the largest veterans career fair in New England. We might be the largest in the Northeast in terms of total employer numbers. Every year we have over 100 employers that show up, and there's, they have jobs in every single field. From manual labor to the insurance industry and beyond, and engineering, and really any career that you could think of.
All aspects of employment. I mean, from blue collar, white collar. Yeah. I know. I personally, and I'm sure the viewers have seen the local news outlets, 3, 30, 61, 8, all cover that event each
Yep,
year.
they all do.
You know, it's. I personally have never been up to Rentschler Field, but I understand it's quite a place inside. Never mind out in the field.
Yeah, it's a great place. Yeah. It's a really cool place. My one of my roommates in college actually played football for UConn, so I got to go there a little bit and watch games. But it's a great place to watch a game. Not a bad seat in the house.
I've seen it a lot from Cabela's, but I've never actually been there. Now it's going to be going on April 4th.
Yep, April 4th.
What time to what time did you say that?
Yep, it's April 4th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's our 14th annual career fair. You know, we started this in 2014 and 2004. Yeah, 2004. So this is our 14th year. It's really kind of blossomed into, you know, just a major event. It's one of the largest veteran events in the state every year, and we're really proud to put it on.
Well, it's. I mean, I'm sure it grows each year.
Yeah, it certainly does. We have more and more employers trying to get in every year. Every year we fill up our employer slots faster and faster. We have, you know, we can fit up to, you know, just over 100 employers, and I'm probably going to fill that up within a week of today, which is pretty fast. Usually it's, you know, within a couple of days we'll fill up, but we're going to fill up quite in advance this year.
You know, it's great that we were brought to each other through Donna down at Veteran Strong. I mean, the timing is perfect.
Yeah.
For this being aired and the event itself. Hopefully a lot of our viewers will take advantage of what's offered there. And you said that participants.
Yeah. We have the state's biggest and best employers, but we also have lots of mom and pops and smaller shops too. And so there's really an employer for most people there. Yeah. So we'll have companies like Travelers Insurance, Pratt & Whitney, ESPN just signed on today.
Wow.
Stanley Black & Decker, UConn, pretty much any large employer in the state is going to be there. Yale University, which we all know is a massive employer down in the New Haven area. I mean, there's dozens upon dozens that I could name that are just such great employers and very veteran friendly and genuine veteran friendly. I work with these employers every day, and they truly do want to hire veterans. So navigating that process is part of what we do on the employment end, but on the one-on-one employment end. But we're putting them in a room so that veterans can go and interact with their talent acquisition and HR professionals is what this event is for.
Have you found that over the last 14 years that you've been doing this, that more and more are joining the bandwagon as far as helping the veterans? Yeah,
the employers, I think they realize there's a true value in it. Yeah. They're not doing this for charity. They're doing this because veterans add a real, tangible and financial asset to their company. Yeah. You know, in terms of, you know, their ability to adjust, their ability to learn, their ability to lead. You don't get too many 23-year-olds coming out of college who have managed 4 or 5 people in a high-stress, high-stakes situation. Yeah. You really get a high-quality candidate when you hire a veteran. Yeah,
the discipline's there. I mean, there's a whole gamut of positive reasons, you know, that have been instilled into them, you know, through the military.
Certainly.
Like you said, high stress. I mean, that's now sponsors. I mean, you must have a lot of sponsors that are helping out.
So our you know, we're sponsored by Entercom, which is right out of Farmington, not too far from here. And we're also sponsored by Travelers Insurance, Pratt & Whitney, and I think that's what we have for this year so far.
Yeah. Have those numbers been going up over the years?
Yeah, we have our pretty steady sponsors that are kind of doing it every year, and that they're just a great resource for us. You know, it's pretty much the same guys every year, but they're absolutely awesome.
As far as, I mean, let's go back to the event itself on April 4th. Each year, do you find more and more veterans taking advantage of this?
It's actually kind of an interesting topic because as the veteran unemployment numbers go down, the amount of veterans that attend our career fairs go down at the same rate. You know, we've looked at the numbers, and believe it or not, it's pretty accurate. The percentage of the unemployment rate corresponding to the amount of veterans that we have going there. In the height of the recession, you know, we had 2,000 to 3,000 people at our career fair. Last year was our first year we went under 1,000. As a veterans representative, I consider that a success. As a career fair planner, I don't consider that a success. You know, our job is to get the word out to as many veterans as possible. There are still veterans that need jobs out there. There's plenty of them. We work with them every day at the Connecticut Department of Labor and the American Jobs Center. We see them and interact with them every day. If you need a job, this is a really, really good first place to start. You know, you can connect with these employers. You can connect with us. It's a really good place to go.
And for the viewers later on, we're actually going to give the contact information for Dan in the Connecticut Department of Labor. So get something to write with where that information is going to be available. What are some of the services that you have?
So some of the services that we have are. We used to have resume critique and stuff there. We kind of eliminated that, believe it or not. So, you know, having your resume critiqued at a career fair is kind of like, you know, diffusing a bomb after it's already gone off. And when you have a resume writer who, you know, most of us are certified professional resume writers, look at your resume. I don't care if John Q. Resume wrote it. We're going to critique it and we're going to tear it up. So go in there with a confidence, maybe see your veterans representative before the career fair to get your resume worked on. What kind of services do we provide? We have different organizations that will be there. Generally, every year we have 15 to 30 service provider organizations. Now you're talking about organizations like the Department of Veterans Affairs, both state and federal, that can help you with disability claims, get you enrolled in health care, really kind of start taking care of some of the other issues besides employment that you might have, whether it's housing, health care, disability compensation claims. Education is another big one. Getting the veterans informed on, you know, if they go down the career fair and everyone's telling them, hey, you need a bachelor's degree for this job, you know, and then they're a little bit frustrated. And then maybe they can connect with one of our education providers, like vocational rehabilitation through the VA, and talk to them about what kind of programs are available to get their bachelor's degree or whatever certification that they need to be more employable.
You know, you were talking about education, and along those lines, I mean, you just gave me a great idea for a show in the future. You know, that's what this show is all about, to bring everything that's available to the veterans out there to them.
And there is so much available. You just have to, and one of the great things about Connecticut, you know, it's a small state. The veterans community is the veterans service community is very intertwined and very cohesive, and we know each other. So if you can get connected with one of us, whether it's in Department of Labor, Department of Veterans Affairs, they should know somebody in one of the other departments or one of the other organizations that can help you out with something else. Like our specialty is jobs. We're not great with healthcare. It's not what we do. But I know the guy who is.
Yeah, exactly.
And
it's networking.
Yeah, it's all networking. And that is one of the advantages of Connecticut being, you know, Connecticut's actually a pretty good state to be a veteran.
Well, you know, I think after this show, we're definitely going to be in touch for future shows.
Certainly.
And not only to, have you back, maybe we can come back and talk about this year's, you know, event, the Heroes for Hire. But who are some of the veteran service providers that you deal with?
Yeah, so we'll have Connecticut Department of Veterans Affairs. We will have Department of Higher Education. The Vet Center will have a van there, or usually they have a bus there where you can get counseling right on the spot if you need it, if you're in a tough place. The Vet Center, or the Connecticut Department of Veterans Affairs Office for Advocacy and Assistance, they'll have a van there too, and they can maybe start your disability claim right away, you know, if that's something that you haven't done yet. There's a lot of things there. You know, we always like to say it is a career fair. You know, we're not there for anything else but to help veterans get jobs, but there are other resources out there. So if you are attending, make sure that you go to the career fair first, and once you're done with that, if you want to hit some of the service providers, that's a really good idea.
Yeah, it's there's a lot to it.
Yeah.
There's as far we were talking about contact information for the actually, how do they get in touch with you?
Yeah, so feel free to visit our website. That's ctvetjobs.org. Yeah. And if you want more information on the career fair, it's ctjobfairs.com.
Yeah. And I'm sure we're going to have that underneath the screen, letting people know about it.
And at ctjobfairs.com website, you can get, and I've updated it. I update it like twice a week. All the employers that are going to be there, their websites, and what jobs that they're going to be hiring for.
That's great. I mean, it's there was a time where none of this was around.
Yeah.
And now, thanks to all the efforts of you and your colleagues, this is a great thing.
Doing your research on the career fair too will help you out a lot as a veteran. Research the people who are the companies that are on that website. Yeah. It's so important to do that. You can see the types of jobs that they have. You can apply to those jobs. You can target your resume to those jobs so that when you go to the career fair, you can present what we call the square peg and a square hole principle, yeah, where you can kind of have that customized resume for the job they're looking for. You're the answer to their dreams because you did the research on that company and the jobs they had ahead of time. So it's kind of like the military. You get your intelligence, then you execute on your plan. Yeah. It's the same thing here.
I'm sure we can come back and talk a little bit more about this, but we were talking about the rivers of recovery.
Yeah. Yeah.
You want to share that with
certainly.
the
I'd love to. So one of the other things that I do is an organization called Rivers of Recovery. Yeah. And Rivers of Recovery is a nonprofit, and we take combat veterans fly fishing, yeah, which is really, really cool. Fly fishing was one of the things that I used for myself to help my physical and mental recovery when I got home. Yeah. And it kind of grew into a little bit of addiction of mine. My wife will call it my mistress.
I've heard a lot of, I got some friends who are heavily addicted to fly fishing.
It's addicting.
And they try to get me out there, and I just haven't done it yet. Eventually,
I'll take you.
Eventually, I will get out there. Yeah, I may take you up on this today. I go up and down the Farmington River a lot just to get away, and I constantly see fly fishermen out there. It looks relaxing.
It's very relaxing. One thing I like to say is trout don't live in ugly places.
No,
and there's something amazing that fly fishing does is it requires you to be present. You can't be distracted by your phone. You can't be distracted by your life. You have to be present in what you're doing to be successful. And so it teaches you to be present, and I think that helps a lot with veterans.
Yeah. Yeah. Now you said you go in the Farmington River.
Most of our trips are on the Farmington. Yeah.
Whereabouts?
Kind of where the tubers go through.
Yeah.
That's where we're fishing. Satan's Kingdom, above Satan's Kingdom. Yeah. Pretty much anywhere from the dam all the way down to here almost. Yeah. Is where we'll do the majority of our fishing. It's a really great. It's becoming one of the more well-known fisheries in the Northeast, and I would probably call it the best trout fishery in New England. Yeah. It's a pretty amazing river. It's very accessible, and one of the things that we try to teach our veterans and try to instill in our veterans with fly fishing is to make this a sustainable and repeatable event. And the Farmington River is perfect for it because it's easy to wade, and then we provide them with all the equipment and all the stuff that they need so that they can repeat this process on their own.
And you got the big trout management area up by People's Forest, that whole area. Yeah. You constantly see fly fishermen out there. Is there anything else that you can touch on as far as your experiences, maybe personal experiences as far as the career fair?
Yeah. I would say it's very important to dress for success. Interview rules apply. one level above what you're going for. So if you're going for a job that requires you to wear t-shirt and jeans, you should probably be in a button down and khakis. If it's button down and khakis that you wear at work every day, business casual, you should probably be in a suit.
Yeah.
You know, bring your resume, bring multiple copies of your resume. Like I said, there's going to be over 100 employers there. So having several dozen resumes is a good idea. If you have resumes targeted to certain employers, to certain fields, that would help you out tremendously. Just make sure you separate them so you know where they are. Yeah. That helps out a lot. You know, I'd say just do your research online. You got to do your research, and just really make yourself a square peg going in a square hole. Get some value from these guys. You know, get some information on how to apply effectively. Don't just go up to every employer and say, "Can you take my resume?" Yeah. Because it puts a lot of pressure on them, and then it's just going to go in the stack of resumes that goes in the circular file.
You want to stand out. You want to stand out.
You know, to have a conversation with them. Don't be afraid of that. Talk about how you fit into what kind of roles they have, and talk about, you know, your experience and make it interesting to them. And then ask them effective ways to apply. Don't ask them, can I give this to you and you'll just call me, right? Ask them how to do this the right way, and ask them how to network your way in there, and maybe connect with that person on LinkedIn. I would say LinkedIn is the most valuable job finding website that there is right now. If you're not on LinkedIn and you're trying to find a job, you're wrong. Yeah. So just make sure that you do that.
And a lot of the employers, I mean, they're looking at that.
They're all on LinkedIn. They're gonna look you up and see what you're about. And you can use LinkedIn as your master resume. You know, you can use that. You can have those special customized resumes for the jobs that you're going for, and then you can use LinkedIn as that master resume that you can pull information from. Yeah. And the employers can go in there and pull information from.
It's key to, you know, go in with the right mindset to stand out. Yeah. You know, like you said, you don't want to just show up and then just drop the you know, resume in their lap and then walk to the next one. Yeah. Go there and spend some time.
Spend some time, talk to them. You're going to see a lot of trinkets on the tables, believe it or not, and you know, everything from blow-up dolls to like pencils and pens and erasers and frisbees. Leave them. Yeah. You're not there for trinkets. You're there to get a job. Yeah. When you pick up those trinkets, it shows the employer that you're there for trinkets and not a job, and it makes you appear not serious.
When you approach the next booth, you're going to have that trinket in your hand.
You're going to have that in your hand. A, you don't look serious. B, you might be fumbling with that frisbee that you have under your arm, and then now you're, you know, just kind of looking sloppy, and you don't want to look sloppy. You want to look professional. You know, to that same note, leave your coat in the car. You know, sport coat, suit coat, just fine. Yeah. Your winter coat, your raincoat, leave in the car. If you got to make it in fast, if it's raining, just make it in fast. Fumbling around with one of those is just it looks sloppy, and don't do it. I'd rather have you be a little bit wet and dry off real quick than be fumbling around with a raincoat.
You want to look professional. You want to look like you own it when you walk in there.
Confidence is huge. Confidence and a smile go so far. Yeah. And I can't stress that enough. Is going in there with confidence, going in there like you know, going in there with the knowledge that you're going to succeed, because you are. If you go in there with the right attitude and the right preparation, you will succeed. You may not find a job that day, but you're going to make some great connections.
Yeah. And once again, networking. Yeah. You know, I mean, you like, once again, you want to go in there and stand out in a positive way. Mm-hmm.
Networking is how 80% of jobs are filled.
You know, it's you know, this show is actually 25 minutes long.
Wow, went fast.
And it's, I mean, we're almost getting there. We're almost getting to the end. There's a lot of, I mean, we could probably do, you know, a two-parter on this. I mean, there's so much out there for employment. What about the age group? Do you find a combination of all the younger and, you know, older and it's just everybody, or
it's a snapshot of society. So it's everybody who, from recently transitioning veterans, even people that are still in the National Guard or Reserves or on active duty will come, and then you have older veterans as well, people who've been out for 20, 30 years.
Yeah, I'm looking at my stopwatch here, and it's we're closing in on the 25-minute mark. I mean, Dan, it was a pleasure to have you.
Well, really, pleasure's here.
This show hopefully was a very informative show for the viewers. Hopefully, there's a lot of viewers out there that will take advantage of this fantastic job fair. I was going for the Heroes for Hire, but it's a job fair, and stop by if you see Dan, say hi, and take what he said to heart. Go out there, stand out, and you'll hopefully do fine. So with that being said, once again, thanks, Dan.
Thank you so much, Chuck.
That's all the time we have for the Veterans Corner. Thank you for watching, and good night.